Performing engine swaps on late model vehicles is getting increasingly difficult because late model engines and late model vehicles require a lot of communication between different components. We're here with Stewart from MESO Customs to talk about this Toyota Tacoma behind me. It's an interesting case study, no longer running a Toyota engine. Let's start with that engine, Stewart. What did you swap into it and why?
We swapped into some American muscle, a 6.2 liter Hellcat supercharged HEMI. And the reason being, we wanted a lot more power than this Toyota even came with. Something reliable and a lot of torque, and it fit the bill.
What sort of power and torque are we getting out of a Hellcat in stock form?
So in stock form is 707, but we're going to put a pulley E85 and tune it up to 800-900 horsepower.
When you're looking at options for engines, where's the benefit in looking at a production engine that already makes the power that you're aiming for versus taking something? I know we talked off camera about one of the options you considered was a 2JZ.
2JZ. So 2JZs are great, and that was my first option for an engine, but I didn't want just an engine and a standalone. I wanted more of an integrated with the body control module. And with this particular build, we didn't just do the Hellcat engine. We used the Hellcat cluster, the Hellcat TCM, BCM, and all of the factory fuse panels. So that way, we just take it out of one car. It's all plug and play. We have the factory OBD2. We can plug it in, and everything talks to each other.
Okay, so this is really the stumbling block for a lot of people doing these late model swaps, particularly if you're buying just the engine and transmission from a wrecker or a braking yard. Getting that to all work with factory electronics like the factory engine control module and transmission control module, it really needs to see all of the other parts as well. So how did you manage, first of all, to source all of these? Is this a case of buy a damaged Hellcat and then pull everything out of it?
Yeah, so there's a company in Cleveland called Cleveland Power and Performance, and they specialize in selling turnkey pallets. And what that is an engine, the transmission, the gas tank, everything is mounted on a pallet. They send it to you and it starts right up. Just put gas in it. It's made for resto mods, people that want the entire system. So we basically took that off the pallet and stuffed it into this cab so everything works and talks to each other.
So the challenge there really is getting all of that factory wiring from the Hellcat and figuring out how to integrate it and run it through the Tacoma.
Splicing and guessing, it's all, as long as you can fit the factory fuse panel and all the factory control modules into your vehicle, it's good to go.
Okay, you're making this sound relatively easy, but I'm assuming there's still a few sort of chips along the way.
We did delete some things such as ABS modules, wheel speed sensors, and that kind of will throw the transmission into a loop because it's not seeing a few particular things. So there was a little bypasses and standalones that we had to do for that, such as a transmission control module. But the rest of it is all factory Hellcat, all the way down to the window controls, window motors, and even starts with the red Hellcat key.
So again, looking inside of this, you've got the Hellcat shifter, you've got the Hellcat gauge cluster, you've got the Hellcat infotainment unit. Right. So for all intents and purposes, the engine and all the electronics still think it's in a factory Hellcat.
Yeah, they still think it's a Dodge. In fact, you plug the OBD2 sensor in, it'll pop up on your scanner as a Hellcat.
And if you'd gone to the trouble of swapping in the wheel speed sensors and the ABS unit from the Hellcat, everything would have been seamless.
Everything would have talked correctly, but this is kind of a Baja build. I didn't want ABS. I didn't want wheel speed. So there's a little bit workaround on that in that regards.
I mean, now that you've gone through this process, could you compare it pros and cons maybe to going with aftermarket standalone solutions instead?
The aftermarket standalone is definitely was on top of my list. There's more configurability, there's more control on it, but I was going for a simplistic standpoint where I didn't really have to do any more wiring. I just wanted to take it out and place it in. It's kind of just a turnkey solution.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be said for that guaranteed turnkey solution for sure. And a lot of people will struggle with aftermarket standalone components and the wiring as well. It's definitely problematic. Okay, a slight change of direction here. The bodywork on this, I just wanted to get into this because again, it sort of covers some of the topics that we cover and are interested in. So massive wide body kit here, one-off custom. Tell us how you went about making these components.
So yeah, for the body panels, they're all fiberglass. For instance, the hood, we took a factory hood, factory fenders, I bonded them together and then made a plug and mold off of that. So that's how we were able to make a one-piece hood. And now back to the fenders, I hand created and shaped one side of the fender. And after that was formed, we 3D scanned it. And to replicate the mirror side, it's pretty easy. Once you have a CAD file, you can just hit mirror. We had that CNC cut out of, routed out of foam and then made a mold off that side to match.
Is traditionally doing that without the use of 3D scanning and 3D routing, it's going to be difficult, if not
Very
impossible, to replicate it side to side. So they're exactly the same.
side. So, you know, use technology to your advantage, and it's a lot easier to hit copy paste when you have a scan on one side than to hand, you know, shape the other.
I'm guessing as well now you've got those molds. If you did end up damaging something, pretty easy to replicate.
So, you know, I learned in the molding world it's very costly to do one mold. It's pretty pricey, but once you have the mold, you can pop out more parts. Going into this, it was just a one-off for SEMA, but you know, if there's demand, I can always make more.
Absolutely, and no doubt it's been a popular car on display here at the Toyota Treadpass. Look, thanks for your time there, Stuart, and if people want to find out more about you and your company, how they're best to do so?
MESOcustoms.com, that's MESOCUSTOMS.com. We make a lot of aftermarket and OEM kind of Toyota accessories.
I appreciate your time, Stuart.
Thank you very much.
If you like that video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already a subscriber, make sure you're subscribed. We release a new video every week. And if you like free stuff, we've got a great deal for you. Click the link in the description to claim your free spot to our next live lesson.